Hey monkeys, how you doing? Damian Keys here. It is a beautiful day in Brighton, back from Portugal. You guys should be here. You should hit me up and we should all go for a nice lollipop on the beach. But I've brought you out for a game of golf. I've never played golf before in my entire life, but this seems like a good idea at the time. I have a story to tell you, and it's a very, very important story to tell you, so don't be put off by the golf, because that is more for comedy value. So let me take you back on a journey. This is really, really important, by the way, so stick with this story, because at the end, it's very important. I want to talk about imaginary competition, right? Back in the day, during the days of BIM, we set up BIM. We had a 3-story building, and it had an alarm on it. And when the alarm went off, we had an alarm list. And I was top of the list because I was the youngest and the least grumpy, and I lived the closest. So my job when the alarm went off was to drive to the building, switch the alarm off, phone the alarm company. So one time, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the alarm went off. I got the phone call saying the alarm's gone off in the building. I was like, fine, I'll come down. In my pajamas, drove down to the building, went in, turned the alarm off, phoned the guy, said, I've switched it off. Someone's probably hit the door or something, but alarm's off. Shut the door, and the alarm went off again. And at that point, I was like, that's a bit weird, that hasn't happened before. So I phoned the guy back and I was like, oh, the alarm's gone off again. And he said, there's somebody in the building. At this point, I was thinking, bollocks. He said, I have to recommend this, don't go in the building, you need to phone the police and wait for the police and let them deal with it. And I was like, dude, I've done this a million times, the alarm's gone off loads of times, the police don't come, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm standing here in my pajamas, just want to go to bed. So I'm going in and I'm sorting this out myself. And he was like, ooh, I wouldn't do that. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going in. So I went in, and there's 3 stories. On the first story, there was a big guitar room and like a disabled loo. So I went in, turned all the light on. At this point, I was about 30% scared, if I'm honest. So I went in, I opened the guitar door, I was having a hunt around, nobody there. Now, I had to go upstairs to the next floor. And the next floor, there was a problem, which is it's pitch black, and the light for the upstairs was upstairs. So at this point, I was thinking, shit, I am now a bit worried I have to go up in the dark. So I went into the disabled loo and I got what could only be described as a weapon of choice. I got a mop. So I had the mop head this side and I was ready. I was ready to take on whatever monsters were in this building. So I went up the stairs, I got to the top where the lights were, and I hit the lights. Metallica says, hit the lights. There was 3 doors in front of me. And I was like, right, let's do this. Let's kick some ass. So I went to the first door. Now at this point, I was a bit more scared. Scared level got up to 50%. So I got to the first door. I wasn't going to open it because I've seen horror films. I'm just going to open it and someone going, ah! And I'd have been like, ah! So I was acting hard. So I did the noble thing. I Jean-Claude Van Damme the door open. And I literally was standing there ready to take on whatever was coming out. Nothing came out. So I was like, right, on to the next door. So I went to the second door. Same again. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the door flies open. At this point, I'm starting to like, gonna take him on with my mop. Nobody there. Got to the third door, did it again. Nobody in there. At this point, heart's going a little bit. So I had to go downstairs and phone the guy. So I phoned the guy and I was like, dude, I've been around the building and there is no one in this building. He said, have you checked the whole building? I was like, I've checked the 2 floors. There's no one here. I hadn't been to the top floor. And he said, okay, fine. So I set the alarm, closed the door, alarm went off again. Fuck! So at this point, I had to phone the guy back again and say, the alarm's gone off again. What the fuck? He was like, he's moved to sector 3. So at this point, I'm a lot more nervous. I'm starting to shit my pants because there's only 2 rooms on sector 3, which is the top floor. I went up to the top floor. Now there's 2 rooms. So I get to the first door. And again, this time I am literally Conor McGregor. and that door flies open. At this point, I've lost words and I'm just shouting random things. And I'm saying things like, if you're in here, I'm gonna take your fucking head off. But meanwhile, I'm actually thinking to myself, I think I'm gonna die, I might poop a little bit. I get to the last door and I'm standing at the door thinking, this is it. This is the end. This is me and the final destination. So I get to the door, I put my hand on the door handle and I'm like, this is it. Door pushes open and I am swinging at everything. It's pitch black in there. If something's in there, they are gonna get a mop to the face. This mop is taking someone's teeth out. So I'm swinging it around and then I realized that there's nobody in there. So I've checked the entire building. So I go downstairs, I phone the guy and I say to him, I have been everywhere in this building. There is no fucker in this building, but I have lost 5 years off my life, but there is nobody in here. And he said to me, oh, must be a problem with the alarm. Now, I shit myself when he did that, not because of the reality. Now, the reality is if it had been anyone in that building, it would have been, I don't know, a student that had stowed away because they wanted to just have a laugh and be mischievous or steal a guitar. It might have been some crackhead that had snuck in there and fallen asleep. But what it wasn't, and what my mind was telling me that it was a very big monster with 3 heads and big sharp spiky teeth and scissors for hands that was going to eat me, because that's what I felt like it was. It was the fear of the unknown. I was terrified of what might be there, even though the rationale was there wasn't really anything there. Now, I deal with bands every single day when I'm not playing golf, and I understand I haven't played golf yet, but you'll see this in a minute. Tiger Woods is a golfer. So I deal with bands. I might deal with 50 bands or musicians every single day, and the word I keep hearing is noise. Noise, noise, noise. It's hard to do it now because of the noise. It's really hard to break through the noise. It's really difficult to break into the music industry because everyone's doing it and it's just too noisy. I wish you could see it through my eyes, because I'm not trying to make it in the music industry, but I am trying to help you, and because of that, I'm dealing with 50 plus musicians and bands every single day, and I can promise you that the noise is a whisper for 99% of the people who are doing this. And by whisper, I mean, if you set up a Facebook page and you tell me to like it, and I like it, and I don't see a Facebook status that I can engage with within the first 2 or 3 weeks, that's not noise, that's just a Facebook page. So you've got to get past this idea that this imaginary competition, you're scared of this competition which isn't there, because the bands in your local area are not doing it properly. The bands in the national area are still not doing this properly. They're not shouting loud enough. If you want to get past the noise, fucking shout louder, because that is not what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is whispers. I'm seeing politeness. I'm seeing asking. I'm seeing sales. I'm seeing marketing. And what I'm not seeing is talent shining through from someone saying, I'm going to do this again and again, and you will fucking listen to me, because in a year's time, I'll keep popping up on your Facebook with another song and another song and another song and another live performance and another gig and more information. That is beating the noise. And so, just like when I went into that building and I was scared because I just thought I knew what was happening, which was a monster, I feel like most bands and musicians are doing the same. You're imagining that there's all these bands out there that have got all this money, that have got all of this power, that are actually putting themselves out there. They're not. It's not noise. It's whispers. And 90% of you are whispering at the same level, and you are not going to cut through. Or if you are, it's fractional. So I wish I could show you from my point of view what that noise is. It's a whisper. So I want you to go and think about that, and I want you to go and create fucking noise, because that's what we do. Now stand back and watch me fucking swing for a monster with a mop. Boom! Just before we go, on a side note, that was my first golf shot ever. I got skills. What are you gonna do about it? What a piece of piss. Right, let's go home.